It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
The UAlbany men's basketball team, they figured it out on Thursday night, getting their first win of the young season by beating Colgate 88-67. The Danes, 88 points, the most points in a non-conference tilt for UAlbany since 2009. That is what UAlbany needs to do. That was the recipe on Thursday night for how their season should play out. It is Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. I'm your host, Brady Farkas. UAlbany got 24 points from Ray Sanders in that game. They got 21 points from Evan Singletary. They got 11 from Peter Hooley. Will Brown has told us now numerous times about how good his guards are, and they were just that on Thursday night. Exactly what didn't happen in the first two games for UAlbany against Kentucky and Boston University, both losses, it happened on Thursday night. Ray Sanders, an all-conference player, had 6 cumulative points in the team's first two games, well, 24, including 6 of 6 from downtown on Thursday. Evan Singletary, Mr. Make It Happen, as they call him. Well, he did make it happen. He got to the rim. He hit shot well from the outside. He got to the line, went left, went right, distributed the ball. He's the best point guard in the America East, and he showed it flat out on Thursday night in that home opener. Great Danes take that one 88-67. And UAlbany built up a lot of momentum in that game. They built up a lot of positive vibes. And today, they're stepping out. They're playing Oneonta at Sefq Arena. Oneonta, Brady, is that a Division III school? Well, yeah, it is. And a lot of people, I think, may look at that game as, why is UAlbany playing it? Why is UAlbany stepping out to play a Division III opponent 1 week after playing Kentucky on the road at Rupp Arena? Doesn't that seem like a bit of a, bit of each extreme? And well, maybe. But look, this game today has the potential to give UAlbany a lot of positives. First and foremost, UAlbany is going to get a chance, probably. No disrespect to Coach Medici and his team at Oneonta. Coach Medici, who I really like, he's from the Capital Region and know him well. Maybe you get out, UAlbany gets out to a big lead. You get a chance to see some of these guys and get guys on the court that you're not going to see a lot this season. Okay? You're not going to see Reese Williams a lot this season. And Reese Williams is a great story, and you should want to see him on the court. We had him on a couple weeks ago. Remember, he's a walk-on senior who doesn't get hardly any playing time. He's a team captain. This is a game where Reese Williams can get out there, where the UAlbany fans who know who Reese Williams is can get a chance to see him play. We should want that as fans of sports, as fans of UAlbany, to be able to see a guy like Reese Williams in. To get guys who are freshmen, who need exposure in a non-pressure situation, a chance to get them out on the court. Joe Cremo, local product. You want to see him. I want to see him. He played 18 minutes last night, or on Thursday night against Colgate. He played 18 minutes. Maybe he comes out and plays 24, 25. Maybe he comes out and we get to see him handle the point guard position a little bit more in a non-pressure situation. All of those things are positives in this game that UAlbany is about to play today at Sefq Arena against Division III Oneonta. And Ray Sanders and Peter Hooley and Evan Singletary are going to play a lot of minutes over the next 4 or 5 months as this team tries to get back to the NCAA tournament for the 4th straight year. We had Will Brown on last week, and I asked him, I said, Coach, you played Singletary for 40 minutes. Your point guard for 40 minutes. Did not come out of the game when you played against Kentucky. Is he a guy who's irreplaceable on the floor? Are we going to see him play 40 minutes a night? He had this to say.
No, I need to get him off the floor, otherwise he's going to wear down.
He's going to wear down. Evan Singletary, among other guys, will wear down if they're forced to play all the time. This game against Oneonta, it's one day, but it's a chance to get your key players to play 12 minutes, 17 minutes, not 32, not 37. It's not going to be quite as physical as a game of the America East or even the game they played on Thursday night against Colgate. UAlbany should have their way with Oneonta, and you may not like that as a fan that they're not going out and playing Kentucky again, but this game has a tangible benefit, and it gets these guys some more confidence. This team now is 1-2. They're going to get a chance to go out, play in front of their home crowd, and get some more confidence in and get what should be a win and get guys in the game. And you're going to see Joe Cremo. You're going to see Greg Steyer play. You local fans that want to see these guys out there, you're going to get a chance. You're going to get a chance to see them, have fun with it. I understand you'd like to see Albany play Duke every opportunity that you could, but this game against Oneonta is a chance to continue the good momentum and the good vibes that the Great Danes had from Thursday night's win, and to carry them over into today, and then moving forward into Thanksgiving and beyond, and then we'll get into conference play, and it's going to be time to go, and the Danes are going to look for their fourth consecutive America East title. So enjoy the game today, Albany, Oneonta. That game, Sefcu Arena. Brady Farkas here, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. We do it every Saturday, 9 to 10 a.m., 1 full hour, local sports, all your New York sports, right here on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. New York State Public High School Athletic Association football Final Four weekend. Section 2 well represented in the state Final Four. Saratoga will represent Section 2 in the Class AA state semifinal. The Blue Streaks are taking on New Rochelle this evening, 7 p.m. at Dietz Stadium in Kingston. New Rochelle 11-0, Saratoga 10-0 after having a bye in the quarterfinal round into the state semis. And getting to know Saratoga a little bit, you need to know the following. Saratoga's offense is dynamic. They scored 40 points in every regular season game except one this season. They scored 40 points or more every single regular season game except one this year. They've knocked off Bethlehem, Shen, and Shaker in sectional play en route to the Section 2 Class AA title. And they're led by Dakota Harvey, who's their all-everything running back and linebacker on defense, but 22 touchdowns. 22 touchdowns for Dakota Harvey this season. And really, Dakota Harvey is one of the most special players in Section 2. This is Saratoga head football coach Terry Jones on his star running back.
Dakota's a very special player. He has all the intangibles. He has size, he has speed, he has strength, he has quickness, and that's a very potent package.
That was Saratoga football coach Terry Jones on the Upstate Sports Edge with us. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Saratoga going in to face New Rochelle today, 7 p.m. Dietz Stadium, Class AA state semifinal. And if Saratoga is going to beat New Rochelle, who's got a very strong program traditionally, if they're going to beat them, they've got to get Harvey going early. And you saw that in the Section 2 final when they played Shaker. Saratoga really didn't get it going until they were able to get that running game going. Head coach quarterback Brian Williams, he didn't really run the ball that well in that game. And when we talk about running the option, we talk about QB draw. They didn't get going until Harvey got going, and Harvey is going to have to get established early and often today. This is Dakota Harvey, also speaking to News Channel 10 earlier.
I'm a power back most of the time, and I love running people over, and I have speed. So I think with that combination, it's hard for teams to stop, especially when you got a good line like we do, and especially when you have guys, skill positions that can block in the open field.
Saratoga has to get Dakota Harvey the ball if they're going to advance to the state championship game. They have to get it to him early. They have to get it to him often. They have to force it to him if they're going to take down New Rochelle and get to the Carrier Dome and play for a chance at the Class AA state title. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. There is a lot of speculation right now around the Union football program that head coach John Odino, we're wondering if he's going to be back. The Dutchmen went 0-10 this year. They went 2-8 last year. And there's some questions about John Odino's job security, and I've seen it in multiple places. I've heard it on multiple stations. And John Odino, he does not deserve to be fired. He does not deserve to be fired. And despite the fact that the Dutchmen went 0-10 this year, 2-8 last year, John Odino deserves to retain his job. He has been there for 24 years. 24 years. You cannot fire him for 2 consecutive bad seasons. He has represented the area well. He has represented your program and your school well enough for you to keep him for 24 years. So he doesn't have any black eyes that have stained his reputation or stained the university in 24 years. You cannot fire him because of 2 consecutive losing football seasons. In the last 35 years, Union only has 4 losing seasons. So the program has been traditionally strong before Odino was the head coach and during his tenure. He's 152-89 in his career. He has won before. he's 16th among active Division III coaches in total victories. He's been to the NCAA tournament 5 times. John Audino is a winner. He has won at Union before. He has won at Union recently. He's just 2 years removed from going 6-4 for back-to-back seasons. He's just 2 years removed from going 6-4 over back-to-back seasons. You cannot get rid of a guy who has been there for 24 years, who has represented your program in a way that has won and he's put the university in a position to win before. So they haven't won these last 2 years. Okay, but he has done it traditionally, and he's done it for a long time. And you have to be loyal to that. You have to respect the resume that the man brings to the table. John Audino speaking on News Channel 10.
Obviously, I want to be back. I know I can get the job done. I know I'm a good coach. I know we have good coaches. I know we have good players. And obviously, we got to do a little bit more work in the offseason to get ourselves bigger, faster, stronger, and a little bit better. But, hey, you know, I don't know if I'm in control of anything at this particular point other than just giving the best effort that I possibly can.
Well, he's given the best effort that he possibly could for 24 years. The man deserves to retain his job. And by the way, go off the football field. Remember, the term is student athlete, and Union has one of the top academic programs in the country, and his team is no different. 106 Liberty League all-academic student athletes have come out of Union in John Audino's tenure. John Audino deserves to retain his job, and so what that the wins haven't been there the last 2 years. He's won before, he knows how to win, and he's done it for a long time in this community. And Union needs to be loyal to that tradition, to that history, and to Coach John Audino. He deserves to keep his job. Man, I am fired up about this. We are going to talk about this again. John Audino, the Union football coach, and the speculation that he might lose his job. We're going to talk about it again at 9:40. And I'm even going to bring in producer Goss. If you listen to Armin Levac, you know producer Goss. Tom Gozlowski, he played football at Hobart, so he played against Union throughout his entire career. We're going to bring him in for his take on things. 9:40, we'll continue the conversation. Got to backtrack here. Got to step back a little bit. The Yankees, they're looking to trade away one of the faces of their franchise. They're wrong for thinking that. I'll tell you why next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Reports came out earlier in the offseason that the Yankees are potentially interested in shopping Brett Gardner. And that is discouraging to hear as someone who watches the Yankees. And I'm not even a Yankees fan, but I am a Brett Gardner fan, and I can't imagine him playing anywhere else but New York. Now, look, a lot of ideas get thrown out when you're at the general managers meetings, and then you're at the winter meetings, and then a lot of rumors get thrown out there. So we don't know how serious the Yankees are about potentially trading Brett Gardner. But the Mariners, who are my team, so I was following this very closely. The Mariners and the Yankees were reportedly engaging in talks about bringing Gardner to Seattle. And that made perfect sense for both sides. One, the Mariners have a new GM in Jerry DiPoto, who's looking to get a new outfield in Seattle. He wants a fast, athletic outfield. They're changing up their organizational philosophy, and Brett Gardner fits that. He's a guy who gets on base on the offensive end. He's a guy who covers a lot of ground on the defensive end, and he can patrol Safeco Field and play center field. That made sense. And if the Yankees could go and get a young pitcher that the Mariners have, James Paxton was a guy that was thrown out, it made sense from the Yankees' perspective as well, because they need to build rotation depth, and their rotation was the single biggest thing that hampered them this past season. So all that, it kind of made sense. But now the Yankees, they should not trade Brett Gardner. Okay, first and foremost, the Mariners are now out of the mix as far as I'm concerned. They went and got Leonys Martin, who's a younger version of Brett Gardner, 27 years old, played for the Texas Rangers. They got him already. So now your most ideal trade partner is gone. I think anything else at this point, and if a trade of Brett Gardner would be forced. And I don't think that the return will be as good as what James Paxton and maybe another prospect would have yielded from Seattle. So the Yankees, they need to retain Brett Gardner from that standpoint alone. There is not a better option out there than the Mariners were, and the Mariners are no longer there. Why would Yankee fans want to get rid of him? Brady, I know he had a terrible second half of the season. He's one of the reasons why we missed the playoffs. Yeah, everybody had a bad second half of the season for the Yankees on offense. The Yankees dealt with Alex Rodriguez regressing back to the mean. Mark Teixeira was injured. Okay? The guys that had been around Gardner in the first half and had played well, they weren't there. Jacoby Ellsbury had a bad second half. So the entire team slumped. Don't just pin it all on Brett Gardner. He's not the reason why the Yankees missed the playoffs solely. Everyone around him regressed back to the mean as well. He gets on base still. 343 on base percentage last year. 343 on base percentage. He's the table setter for your lineup. If you don't like him because he doesn't steal enough bases for you, again, that's an organizational philosophy that the Yankees have. Brett Gardner is a valuable piece to that team. And since Derek Jeter retired, Brett Gardner is the face of the franchise. Brett Gardner is the face of the franchise. When you talk about the Yankees now, you think about Brett Gardner. He represents what the Yankees want to be. You don't want the Yankees to be a team that supposedly buys everybody and buys championships and is all about the money. Well, Brett Gardner is the guy who goes out there, who slides head first, who's always got a dirty jersey, who's always getting his face in the middle of things. Brett Gardner is the guy, the character guy that you want to be what you stand for. You can't just get rid of that, especially when it's not going to be a great return. You need Brett Gardner in the outfield. You need the depth of the outfield. They went out, they got Aaron Hicks. That's great. That probably means that Chris Young is gone. So now you've got Aaron Hicks, you've got Jacoby Ellsbury, you've got Brett Gardner, you've got Carlos Beltran. Ellsbury and Beltran, you can't bank on them to play 162 games. You can't just give away great outfielders, guys who do you a lot of good, when you don't know what else you've really got. You need the outfield depth. Brett Gardner is not only he's your starter, he's your leadoff guy, but he gives you more depth in the outfield that you badly, badly need. And finally, there is something to be said for the homegrown player. There is a reason why all you Yankee fans love Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, Andy Pettitte. There's a reason why you love those guys, Mariano Rivera. Because they're homegrown guys. They came through the system. You followed them from the time they were young. You saw them develop, mature as Yankees, and eventually you saw them evolve into champions. That is what Brett Gardner is. Brett Gardner, in an increasingly free agent-driven market where guys constantly change teams, Brett Gardner has always been a Yankee. Brett Gardner has always been a Yankee, and he needs to remain a Yankee. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. The Siena men's basketball team took on Radford last night. They opened up their season just a week ago on the road at Duke and Wisconsin, and those were great games for Jimmy Patsos and his crew to go out and play. Very important to the development of the program. Got the game on national television. Both of them got a chance to be seen by recruits, got a chance to be seen by alumni, possible donors. All of that is great. We now have on Siena men's basketball player senior Ryan Oliver with us. And Ryan, we talked about it all leading up to the offseason, or all through the offseason rather, about you guys taking on Duke and Wisconsin. What did you learn about your Saints after those first two games against Duke and Wisconsin on the road?
We learned a lot. It was a great experience for us. We fought hard. Unfortunately, it wasn't for the full game, but we took away some key things from the game going to our future games. So, we learned a lot. We had to apply new things and just go from there.
What are the keys to you guys? What do you need to do this season to be successful, especially as we start to move in towards conference play?
Well, when we do play well, we're really good. Unfortunately, it's hard to play well for 40 minutes, and we went to a couple of scoring droughts. At this level, we had to continue to score the ball for 40 minutes. Also, defensively, we had to get better. A couple guys had career nights on us, and that can't happen. We had to really just lock down our defenders and help defense, and also stop fouling. That's another key opponent.
Ryan Oliver, Siena men's basketball player with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Ryan, you guys played Radford last night. When you look at the Duke-Wisconsin games, you had 4 players at double figures against the Blue Devils, 3 against the Badgers. That scoring balance has to be a big thing for you guys this year as you move in towards your own league.
Definitely. I mean, that's a great thing about this team this year. We have a lot of guys who can score the ball and, real versatile, big group of guys. So it's not just one guy's night. We have a couple guys who can lead us in scoring, which is going to make us dangerous. Ryan,
you're 6'5", and at the mid-major level, that's a ball handler position, but not quite the point guard. But you're also capable of going down low, but it's not quite the power forward or center. Does being that in-between kind of combo player, does it have advantages or disadvantages?
It definitely has advantages because you can do a little of both. So if you have to take it out and dribble the ball, you're able to and capable of doing that. But also if you need to attack the basket, you do have the height and the power and and hopefully the strength to do that as well. So you kind of just have to pick and choose your spots to do that.
Albany's got a lot of success lately, and locally they've attracted a lot of fans in the last few years. Now, there was some talk that maybe that rivalry would end if the two schools couldn't come to an agreement, but they do. You're going to play them this year in December. How excited are you to see that rivalry renewed once again here in your senior year?
I'm very excited. I mean, it's been a great game the last 3 years. Unfortunately, it hasn't been in favor of us, but it's been a great game for not just the two teams, but the community and the capital region as well. A lot of people come out and look forward to that game, so we're glad we can keep putting that on for the fans.
Ryan Oliver, Siena men's basketball player with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Ryan, you're from California. I know you played prep basketball out in Massachusetts, but what brought you to the East Coast in the first place?
Well, just to continue to play basketball. I actually, going into my senior year of high school, I tore my ACL, so I knew if I wanted to continue to play basketball, I would have to go out to prep school. And most of the prep schools are mainly on the East Coast. It's a couple now on the West Coast. But so I knew in order to continue to pursue my dream, I would have to leave sunny California, come out back east. And, it was a great decision I made, and I'm very thrilled with that. I made that decision.
What was it about Siena specifically that attracted you?
One, the school. Obviously their success from 2008 to 2010, making a tournament and a dance. Also, the school is a great business school. I am a marketing major, so I want to also get a degree that's going to help me down the road. And then also just the family feel, like, everyone, it's a small school setting, so everyone knows each other. Everyone is concerned about your well-being. They're always asking about you. So just the whole, family culture away from home, where I felt like, I could be comfortable here.
You can blame the athletic communication staff at Siena for getting this on the website and bringing it to my attention. You were a child actor, a couple national commercials?
Yeah, a little throwback Thursday about me. When I was growing up, I did a little acting. I actually followed in the footsteps of my brother. He was actually really bigger and more successful, but I actually did do a couple commercials and a couple magazine shoots and everything.
So what kind of commercials would we have seen you in back in the day?
My national one, the biggest one, was the Intel commercial. That definitely was my biggest commercial.
Is there a YouTube link to this somewhere?
I hope not. I might have taken it down. Nah, my mom has all the videos. It's like all on VHS and stuff. So if you still have a VHS player, I'd be sure. Hopefully, you can get something to you. But she has all of them in the garage still. But that was my big national one, was the Intel one. The regional ones, I did a couple PSAs. And then I was also a healthcare baby. It was similar to the Johnson & Johnson baby. So a couple of different things.
Ryan Oliver, Siena men's basketball player with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Now Radford, Duke, Wisconsin, all in the books. We continue to move forward here in 2015-16. Ryan, best of luck, continued success in your senior year, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and go Saints.
Absolutely. Ryan Oliver, there he goes. We'll certainly be talking to him again. National commercials and a good basketball player to boot. Not a bad resume there for Ryan Oliver. Saints now 3 games into their season. We'll certainly be following them as they head towards MAC play, and hopefully the Saints get back to a position where they're in a position to compete for an NCAA tournament berth. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. This is the best chance for the Bills to beat the Patriots, and I still don't think they're going to do it. I actually like Rex Ryan. I think he gets far too much grief and takes far too much heat. This is his best shot to beat Belichick, and it's still not going to happen. The Bills have almost everything set up for them to win. The Patriots don't have Deion Lewis. They've got a banged-up offensive line. They've got no Julian Edelman. The only thing going against Rex and the Bills is that this game is in New England. That's the only thing going against them. If Rex even has an extra day to prepare because this game's on Monday Night Football. The Bills are finally healthy. Tyrod Taylor, Sammy Watkins, Shady McCoy's been healthier of late. And I just don't see, as long as Brady and Belichick are there, I don't see any way that Rex and company go into Foxborough and win. So that's my prediction. I've got the Patriots winning on Monday Night Football. I still think they're going to score. Amendola will have a big game. Brandon Bolden will have a big game. Scott Chandler, the former Bill, it would be very Patriots-like to have a former Bill do all the damage. So I'm going with the Patriots 35-21 on Monday Night Football, and the Patriots will remain unbeaten. John Bowen has Schuylerville playing for a spot in the Class B state title game. We'll break down the game, and I'm going to take Coach Bowen way back 14 years ago. We'll tell you all about it when he joins us next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Yes, we are back. State Final Four action today. High school football. Schuylerville, another team representing Section 2. The Class B champions taking on Westlake, 3 p.m. That game at Deet Stadium in Kingston. And we are now joined by Schuylerville head football coach John Bowen. Coach Bowen, congratulations on a great season to this point. What are the keys for you guys to win this game today?
Well, Brady, first of all, I mean, this Westlake team, we've got a chance to see on film, they're very fast, probably going to be one of the fastest teams we've seen top to bottom all season long. They're especially up front, they've got great speed with their defensive front as well as their offensive front. They get off the ball very quickly. A lot of similarities that we see from their team to what we've been able to do this season as well. So it's, we're getting into some familiar territory as far as that's concerned, as far as what we're seeing as far as the speed is concerned.
We hear a lot of times that people say that Section 2 really prepares them for the regional and the state rounds. Has that been the case for you guys? Has Section 2 competition prepared you sufficiently for this?
No doubt about it. Yeah, we knew that the top 4 teams, certainly in the Class Bs and Section 2, were going to pose some of our biggest challenges heading through the postseason. So, and that certainly has proved to be the case thus far. So we're feeling very confident from a level of preparation. Again, we don't have a ton of familiarity with this football team or program. So, but again, that lack of familiarity exists for them as well. So, we'll go out there. We'll go out there, spend 48 minutes on Saturday afternoon, and figuring out what team's done the best job to put themselves in position to go to the Carrier Dome.
Schuylerville football coach John Bowen with us. Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. And coach, your running game and your offense and that hybrid flex wishbone that you guys run, that gets a lot of the attention when we talk about Schuylerville. But really, your defense this year, 81 points allowed in 11 games, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah, the defense this year so far for us has been great. We played a number of spread teams here over the last several weeks. We've got one of the areas that we feel is an area of strength for us is our secondary. Not just the speed that we have at that position, but also their ability to come up and support the run. We played multiple teams here that have been spread teams, but they've spread you out to try to run the ball. So we have felt that to a certain degree with this personnel that we have this year played a lot into our strength. This team we're playing this week is more of they're an old school wing T team, and so we're gonna have to really take some of those guys, crank them down a little bit, and they're gonna be primary run support type of guys this week. So. We're hoping that added speed, and it's speed that those guys have been used to seeing all season long down there in Section 1. But that added speed for us is going to be in our best interest here as far as supporting the run. And again, we're very confident in our level, in our perimeter level tacklers.
Does anyone else feel like they just got a whole lot smarter listening to that breakdown and how to stop the spread when you're on defense? Coach, give me a playbook. I am ready. John Bowen with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. The Schuylerville football coach has his team set to go to the state Final Four today. They're taking on Westlake, 3 p.m. That game at Deet Stadium in Kingston. And Coach Bowen, I'm going to take you down memory lane right now. 14 years ago, you were my 6th grade gym teacher at Shenendahowa.
Oh, come on.
You were my 6th grade gym teacher at Shenendahowa, and I have an apology to you. 14 years in the making. It was 6th grade. It was the year 2001. I had first period phys ed class. I don't remember what happened, but it was cold out. It was dewy out, something like that. And I set up the flag football field without your permission, and you made us run because we were not allowed to do that. And you asked who did it, and no one copped to it, and we just ran the entire class. 14 years later, it was me. I apologize.
Well, I'm going to apologize. I didn't realize I was that big of a jerk 14 years ago, but hopefully I've mellowed in my years here. So
I don't think it was a jerk moment. I think I shouldn't have been the punk kid trying to beat the system and get the field ready 3.5 minutes earlier than it would have been if you had been out there. So
great.
14 years ago, I made a mistake, and now I'm finally ready to come clean with it. So, Coach Bowen at Schuylerville, best of luck later today, 3 p.m., Deet Stadium in Kingston, taking on Westlake in the Class B State Final Four. Coach, congratulations on a great season at this point, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon after you bring home the entire thing.
All right, great, Brady. Thank you.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you for being with us. And Schuylerville unbeaten going into that game this afternoon. And what a trip down memory lane that was. There's just certain things that happen to you when you're younger that you will just never forget. And that is one of the experiences for me. Year 2001, and so I had first period. And so obviously what happened is that we got out to the field beforehand. We got to set up the field for everybody else. And Coach Bowen wasn't out there yet. And I tried to set up the field on our own because, hey, we had 40-minute class. By the time we got out there and had to go back in at the end of class, you're probably down to about 32 minutes. And I wanted to make sure we played for all 32 minutes and not just, 29 of them by waiting for him to get out there so we could set it up. And that was funny to bring up. So Coach Bowen and his team going on, looking for a chance to play for a state championship. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. John Audino, head football coach at Union College. A lot of speculation as to whether or not he'll retain his job after the Dutchmen go 0-10 this year. That's coming off a 2-8 season a year ago. And John Audino deserves to keep his job. He deserves to keep his job. He's been there for 24 years. He's gotten Union to 5 NCAA tournaments in his tenure. He's produced 106 Liberty League all-academic selections. The term is student athlete. So he's won on the field. He's got his players winning in the classroom and therefore subsequently winning off the field. Remember this. It is hard to win at Union. If you want to make this about wins and losses, Division III coaches don't get fired for performance very often. Okay? They don't have scholarships. You have recruiting limitations. And Union has a lot of recruiting limitations, okay? Every school has a recruiting niche. Union is looking for a specific kind of kid. Grade-wise, you know how hard it is to get into Union? It's extremely hard to get into Union, okay? One of the top academic institutions in New York. So now you're looking for a kid who's got to be able to make your grades. You're looking for a kid who's probably an engineering major, and those don't just grow on trees, and when they do, they're not necessarily always great football players. You are at a recruiting disadvantage at Union, and he has still won in the past despite of that. So what? These last 2 years haven't been great. Okay? They have not been good from a win-loss standpoint, but he's won before. It is hard to win at Union. And by the way, now you throw in, you're looking for a kind of kid with grades, you're looking for a kind of kid with major. Producer Gaz, I spoke to him before the show and got his take on this. Producer Gaz played in the Liberty League. He played at Hobart. He played against Union, and reminded me of this, okay? It is about another big factor as well. Producer Gaz, who's with Armin Levac every day from 3 to 7.
I look across the board. This is a team that could compete for the Liberty League title just a few years ago. But as we watch in Division III, you can't offer scholarships. You can't offer a big amount of money for players to come to your college or university. What it comes down to Union is that, look, with the continued increase in tuition and going to college and things like that, there are athletes who may not play at the Division I, AA, Division II level. When they look at Division III, they may go to the place that they can just afford to go to. They may go to a football program that doesn't have the same type of tradition and respect as Union, but because they can afford to go somewhere else, they're going to go there.
So like all things, it's about money as well. It's about money as well. $62,274. That is the total cost to go to Union when you include mandatory fees, tuition, and room and board. $62,000. And you have to find kids that can afford that or close to that to go and play your football program. It's a hard place to recruit to. And as we said, 1320, the average SAT for a 2-part to get into Union. So now you need kids with a specific major that can get an average of a 1320 and can afford that. It's a hard place to win. He's done it before. He hasn't done it the last 2 years, but John Audino deserves to keep his job. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. And Mohawk Honda always strives for perfection every single day by providing the most impeccable customer service, because that's the key to any success. And Mohawk Honda, they try to do it right all the time. They have over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles available to select from. They're open extended hours in all of their departments. You can shop over 10 acres of savings opportunities or go online 24/7 at MohawkHonda.com, and they'll provide you the lowest no-hassle price to better suit your budget. You can ask your Mohawk Honda Exchange specialist about their Mohawk Honda Exchange program. Just ask Tiffany, Katie, or Vide to see just how easy it is to exchange your vehicle for the same or lower payment. Shop their convenient Route 50 in Glenville location to join the number one automotive family at Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. Joey DiPiazza, head football coach at Albany High School, turning around on the field and now getting Albany High some recognition nationally. That's next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Albany High School turned it around this season on the gridiron. They won 3 games, all 3 to end the season. They started out 0-6, but they finished the year 3-6. They get their first double-A win since 2007. And then they go on and they beat Mahonis and Averill Park in 2 crossover games to end the year. Albany High School football is on the right track, and the reason why is because of head coach Joey DiPiazza and his staff. You know, it's nice when you can say that your show has been around long enough that you have regular guests or regular people that you talk to. And Joey DiPiazza, friend of the show. That is what we could call him. Friend of the show is doing big things at Albany High, and he's receiving praise for it, not just locally, not just from us, but nationally as well. Coach DiPiazza was one of 4 coaches nationally to receive the Dove the soap brand, Dove Men's Caring Coach of the Year award. And that's given to coaches who not only have their teams and their programs good on the fields of competition, on the fields of play, but they also exhibit passion, determination, respect, support, and encouragement. And they go above and beyond just on the field to create better opportunities for their student athletes. That is what Coach DiPiazza has done. He has changed the culture at Albany High School in Albany. He took over that program last November of 2014, and really had less than a year to get everything going. He instantly got his team in the weight room. He got his team out in the community. And what he did also was he got his team vying to get a new athletic facility that doesn't just benefit his program, but benefits all of Albany High. And when you do that, and they got that field, trust me, that field is there. It is beautiful. It's one of the best fields and athletic facilities in Section 2 now. And that restores community pride. It gets fans that want to go. Coach DiPiazza and his staff did that. And then they were able to take that and turn all of that into building team chemistry. He had his team in the sense of togetherness. He calls it we building, not rebuilding, we building. Sense of community, a sense of pride, a sense of belief in your school and what your school stands for. And it's great to see Albany High seeing tangible results now, and Coach DiPiazza now getting this recognition nationally. And Jarrell Chaney, who's one of the top wide receivers in all of Section 2, he had this to say about Coach DiPiazza.
There's no words to say how hard Coach DiPiazza works and how hard the rest of the coaching staff works. They push us every day, and they push themselves every day on and off the field to do what they do and try to get us to be better football players and better students in the school and on the field.
So now also, in addition to just being good football players, he's creating better students, better athletes, and better young men. And that is a mantra that Coach DiPiazza believes in. I've known him well. I've known him for a while now. And we're happy for him here locally to see him getting this award nationally, getting this recognition, and putting Albany High, continuing to put Albany High on the map. Remember, Albany High has a proud athletic tradition. And the football program has been down in the dumps now for the better part of a decade. And it's on the way up. The football program is on the way up the end of the year with 3 straight wins. End of the year with 3 straight wins. So good for Coach DiPiazza, good for Albany High School. It is Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. New Albany women's basketball team 2-0 this season after season opening wins against Pepperdine and Boston University. They're taking on Toledo this afternoon, 3 p.m. But before they get on the hardwood, it is Coach Katie Abrahamson-Henderson with us here. And Coach Abe, 2-0 to start the season. What have you seen so far?
Well, it's been a lot of fun and nerves and, breaking off the backboard and all those first few games, But I think it's been good because, I can see where the newcomers are going to fit into our system, and obviously the upperclassmen are paving the way. And so it's always those first two games, you just got jitters, even the coaches, you're nervous. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you've put in everything, if you've got your team ready, if everything's, going to fall into place. So, so far we're pleasantly pleased and surprised. You've been to the NCAA tournament 4 straight years now. The target always on your guys' back, especially as we move towards America East play. But, just how impressed are you with where the program has come over these last 4 years? Yeah, I'm just impressed with the young women. The young women have just, really bought into our system, and, our coaches are awesome. I've had, 2 of my coaches all 5 years, 6 years now. So, it's just the system that we put in, and our players have really bought in, and our upperclassmen just keep it going. And, they're the true leaders on the floor and practice every day because, they want to win, and they don't. The team that I have now and the players that I have now have never lost, so this is all they know. And so they haven't really developed any losing habits. And so it's a lot more enjoyable now, than it was a few years to try to train them how to be winners and not train them, not to lose. So it's been quite the journey. New Albany women's basketball coach, Coach Abe, with us. Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. And, Coach, we spent a lot of time in the offseason getting excited about the 2 local men's teams and how they were starting their season. The New Albany men on the road at Kentucky, the Siena men on the road at Duke and Wisconsin. But trust me, I've taken notice of the fact that you guys have Tennessee on the schedule, one of the biggest names in all of women's college basketball. That's the day after Thanksgiving. You've played North Carolina last year. You've had Duke before. How important is it for you guys to go out and get a game of that caliber? Well, this weekend, today playing Toledo, they're a division, they're a NCAA WNIT team. They're a really, really good team, and then so is Rhode Island and so is Harvard. So we're taking on really good teams early. We just didn't play Tennessee first, but our schedule is really loaded with some really good, talented teams, and purposefully to get us ready for the next level. Our team really wants to be at the next level, and I just want to put Teresa on a really, really high stage so a lot of coaches can see her because she's kind of a hidden gem over here in the East and in America East. She's a Power 5 player. She's really talented and she could play anywhere. So I'm really trying to not necessarily play the big schools just to play them, but to play them to get Teresa noticed. Coach Abe, last question for you. I'll be honest, I didn't even realize that they changed the format to 4 quarters from 2 halves in the women's game until I was at your first game. What do you think of the new format? I like it. Is it good, bad, have disadvantages? Too early to tell? What do you think? Well, there's a lot of it. For me, I want to keep going because my team has a motor, and they're like a freight train. If you just keep the game going, you're in trouble, and it keeps chopping it up. For us, I think for a lot of other teams, it really helps them because they need that break. They need that regather thing. They need that extra, timeout and the extra quarters, to kind of slow the game down. I don't like it because I don't want to slow the game down. I want to keep going and keep going and keep going and just wear people out. So I think it's an advantage to other teams that play us, honestly. But for us, what I do use it as is, okay, well, now we're going to X and O you a little bit, and we're going to maybe switch up our defense, maybe trap a little bit more, maybe, have that break if Teresa, a minute before that second quarter starts, and so she'll have like 2 minutes, 3 minutes break there in Amani, so it really helps our team rest a little bit. Coach Abe with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Great Danes taking on Toledo today, 3 p.m. Coach Abe, best of luck, and we'll be talking to you again plenty this season. Great. Thank you so much, Brady. Absolutely, Coach Abe. And the Danes going into the Rhode Island tournament this weekend, so that's why she mentioned possibility of playing Rhode Island or Harvard. Danes against Toledo, 3 p.m. And I love what she said. Teresa Richards, she is a top 5 conference player. She's not just saying that because she
She coaches her. Teresa Richards is a 2-time America East Player of the Year. And last year when they went out and played North Carolina, I remember Coach Abe telling me, I don't remember her exact words, but I remember her telling me that North Carolina's coaching staff came up to her and said basically that this girl could play in the ACC. And Teresa Richards is that special, so she's a senior. If you haven't got a chance to go out and see her, do so when the Danes return home. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. Class C State Final Four today, 11 a.m., right after the show ends. 1 hour from now, pretty much. We've got Greenwich taking on Liberty out at Dietz Stadium in Kingston, and the Witches have just been on an absolute tear. They have been rolling over everyone in their path. They're taking on Liberty and Greenwich. They just score flat out. They scored 55, 56. They scored 54, 51, 55 again, 40, 49, 49. And they've mixed in a couple of gentler scoring games, 18, 28 or so. But Greenwich flat out scores. And if they're going to win this game today in Class C, they're going to be led by Mike Brandow, 27 touchdowns, and Lucas Whitehouse has 14. So a two-headed monster for the Witches out in Class C. And again, we've got Schuylerville in action. We've got Saratoga in action today. We've got Greenwich in action. We had Amsterdam in action last night. So Section 2 well represented in the state Final Four. And we're looking to see all those three teams from today. We're looking to see them all at the Carrier Dome here, playing for a chance to win a state championship. That is the ultimate goal, and we are coming down to the last weeks here of the high school football season. Then we're going to be full on into basketball and hockey and wrestling and everything else. So it's a great time to be following Section 2. It is Capital Region Sports Saturday. We are brought to you by Mohawk Honda every week from 9 to 10 a.m. And Mohawk Honda always looks to be #1 by striving for perfection every single day. And really, at Mohawk Honda, they've got over 180 trained automotive experts going above and beyond to make sure all of your needs are met. If new isn't for you, they inventory over 300 of the highest quality pre-owned vehicles, all at one low, below market value, no hassle price. Being #1 isn't easy, but at Mohawk Honda, they treat their customers with respect and have been doing so for almost 100 years. 4 generations of the Harridan family serving the Capital Region. So shop their convenient Route 50 in Glenville location because they always go out of their way to please you. Big weekend on tap. Dion Lewis for the Patriots will not play, obviously, out for the year with that torn ACL, but he did have successful surgery on that left knee. Dr. James Andrews performed it, so we look to see Dion Lewis back on the field as soon as possible in the 2016 season. And really was having a great year for the Patriots. It's a shame. Patriots against the Bills. I've got the Pats winning that game on Monday Night Football. The Mets got robbed in the postseason awards. Noah Syndergaard finishing 4th in the NL Rookie of the Year. Terry Collins finishes 3rd in the Manager of the Year. I don't like either one of those decisions by the Baseball Writers of America. We've got the Jets going up against the Texans. It's a must-win for Gang Green. We've got the Giants on the bye week. We've got Arm and Levac back on Monday, 3 to 7, breaking all of that down. But right now, we've got College Game Day live in Columbus. It's Ohio State, Michigan State, Lee Corso and the boys. They're next.